Hong Kong is reeling from its deadliest fire in decades, a catastrophic blaze that tore through the Wang Fuk Court public housing complex and left the city questioning how such a tragedy could happen in a place known for strict building safety standards. For residents like Mr. Wan, the disaster began as an ordinary afternoon. He sat in his 8th-floor apartment watching television, unaware the flames were devouring a nearby block. Even when he heard sirens and shouting outside, he ignored them, assuming it was just another noisy day in Hong Kong. Everything changed at 3:15 p.m. The moment he opened his window, he was hit by a wall of smoke. Flames were racing up the building, fueled by bamboo scaffolding wrapped around the towers as part of ongoing renovations. The fire had already jumped to other blocks, engulfing the 31-story buildings in minutes. Wan grabbed his wallet and his 2 dogs and fled down a gas-filled stairwell. Moments later, the fire was upgraded to a level 4 alarm. Within hours, it reached level 5, the city's most severe classification. More than 4,000 residents, many of them elderly, were trapped or displaced as the inferno spread across 7 of the 8 towers. Families returning from work stood frozen in shock as flames overtook the estate. Social media and community groups exploded with desperate messages from residents trying to locate parents, children, and neighbors. By nightfall, the devastation was clear. At least 83 people were confirmed dead, and hundreds more remain unaccounted for. Survivors awoke in emergency shelters with nothing but the clothes they had escaped in. Wan and his wife stared at the reality that their home and everything inside it was gone. The fire has sparked outrage and questions that authorities can no longer ignore. Residents say they warned officials for more than a year about unsafe construction practices. Posts in a community Facebook group show complaints dating back to October of last year, alleging that renovation materials and scaffolding did not meet fire retardant standards. In a statement, the Hong Kong Labor Department admitted it had conducted 16 safety inspections at Wang Fuk Court between July 2024 and November 2025, issuing reminders for contractors to improve fire prevention measures. Yet the measures were not enforced. The city's bamboo scaffolding code requires fire-retardant netting, but it remains a guideline, not a law. Investigators now say they have found highly flammable materials, including polystyrene boards, blocking windows in multiple units. Residents reported smelling gas in stairwells and hearing scaffolding collapse, while alarms in several towers failed to activate at all. Some families say no authorities ever knocked on their doors to warn them to evacuate. The government is now under intense scrutiny. Hong Kong's Independent Commission Against Corruption has launched a task force to investigate alleged misconduct linked to the renovation project. 3 arrests have already been made. Officials have also ordered immediate inspections of every public housing estate currently under renovation. Wang Fuk Court is part of a massive public housing program relied on by millions of Hong Kong residents. Nearly half of the city's population lives in government housing, and demand is so high that waiting lists can stretch for years. Many who escaped the flames fear they have now nowhere to go and no way to rebuild their lives. The tragedy is particularly devastating because so many of the residents were elderly. Hong Kong's aging population has turned public housing estates into hubs for retirees with limited incomes. In some blocks, the majority of residents are over 65. Many did not have the mobility or support to evacuate quickly. Stories of heartbreak continue to emerge.
One resident rushed home from work but was blocked from entering the complex and has not heard from his elderly parents since. Another had just finished renovating an apartment he purchased earlier this year, spending months and thousands of US dollars preparing it as his family's new home. Now, he says, it's all burnt. As the smoke clears, Hong Kong faces a reckoning. Residents want answers. How did a city with world-class infrastructure allow fire-prone materials, silent alarms, and unregulated scaffolding to trap people inside burning homes? For survivors like Wang, the question is painfully simple. How could this happen? And why were we not protected?